Hello. I'm not here to attack anyone on either side of the abortion debate. I love all, and I'm only interested in getting down to the truth. I'll let politicians try to win you over with half truth, emotional, heart tugging nonsense to get you to vote for them. I believe in a woman's rights. I believe in everyone's rights. I believe that everyone should have the right to choose how to proceed with large decisions in their life. I believe that everyone should have access to health care, and I believe everyone should be responsible for paying their own way. You shouldn't be forced to pay for my stuff, and I shouldn't be forced to pay for yours. I truly do care about each and every one of you. If you disagree with me or even hate me, I still love you. Oftentimes, we get so passionate, so forward with what we believe to be the truth that we don't listen to what others say. Many get angry, call others names, and attack others that have the opposite viewpoint. I promise you, if you want others to look at your viewpoint, it is with love, not anger or hate, that will open their eyes. Abortion is a very controversial subject. When it is brought up, many have very strong opinions, or people just want to change the subject. I understand people wanting to avoid confrontation. I also know that if we don't come together, figure out what the truth is, and then act on it to make a change, things will not get better on anything. I believe we need people who will stand up and speak the truth, no matter how controversial, no matter how politically incorrect it is. I will always bring you the hardcore truth. I will now dive in head first. I have researched the opinions of advocates of pro-choice and pro-life and everything in between. I consider myself a truth seeker, so we will get down to the truth. First, we're going to go over the basics. I must state that I love everyone no matter what you believe about abortion, whether you support it, have had an abortion, or are against it. I also must state that we all need to know the truth of what is really happening here. If you can't stand to listen to what abortion really is, then you are fighting to stay out of the reality of what is truly going on. I implore you, no matter what your stance is, to continue the course to adapt and overcome. The truth needs to be heard. After that, you can make a decision of whether you support abortion or not, but with the facts and not just someone's political views or opinions. No matter what your beliefs are on abortion, if you can't continue watching this video, if you don't want to listen any further because the truth is bothering you so much you have to leave, then I love you, but you should look into changing your views. If the truth makes you run away, no matter what you believe, there are many people that are very confused as to what we are dealing with concerning an abortion. So I break that down using dictionaries and science and like biology, so we all know the truth. I use Noah's Webster's Dictionary for educational purposes only. The definition of abortion is the termination of a pregnancy after accompanied by, resulting in, or closely followed by the death of the embryo or fetus, such as a spontaneous expulsion of human fetus. The definition of fetus is an unborn or unhatched vertebrate, especially after attaining the basic structural plan of its kind, specifically a developing human from usually 2 months after conception to birth. The definition of a human being is belonging to man or mankind, pertaining or relating to the race of man, as a human shape, human nature, human knowledge, human life. The definition of a child is an unborn or recently born person. So let's dive deeper into what we're talking about here by answering some questions. What are we aborting? Is it a lump of cells, a growing human life, or something in between? I know many can get very emotional and offended just by talking about the subject of abortion, let alone what is being aborted. So I will cut through all the emotional garbage from both sides of the issue, trying to persuade you to believe what they believe. Let's go straight to the real science, the biology, and leave no question as to what is being aborted. Let's look at some different resources, starting with some peer-reviewed information from a simple online search brings up proven scientific evidence of what is being aborted. This comes from something I searched up on Princeton EDU. The development of human beings begins with fertilization, a process by which two highly specialized cells, the spermatozoon from the male and the oocyte from the female, unite to give rise to a new organism, the zygote. Although life is a continuous process, fertilization is a critical landmark because under ordinary circumstances, a new genetically distinct human organism is thereby formed. The combination of 23 chromosomes present in each pronucleus results in 46 chromosomes in the zygote. Thus, the diploid number is restored and the embryonic genome is formed. The embryo now exists as a genetic unity. The scientific basis for distinguishing one cell type from another rests on two criteria: differences in what something is made of, its molecular composition, and differences in how the cell behaves. These two criteria are universally agreed upon and employed throughout the scientific enterprise. They are not religious beliefs or matter of personal opinion. They are objective, verifiable scientific criteria that determine precisely when a new cell type is formed. Based on this criteria, the joining or fusion of sperm and egg clearly produces a new cell type. The zygote, or one-cell embryo, cell fusion is well-studied and very rapid event, occurring in less than a second, because the zygote arises from the fusion of two different cells. It contains all the components of both sperm and egg, and therefore this new cell has a unique molecular composition that is distinct from either gamete. Thus, the zygote that comes into existence at the moment of the sperm-egg fusion meets the first scientific criterion for being a new cell type. Its molecular makeup is clearly different from that of the cells that gave rise to it. Subsequent to sperm-egg fusion, events rapidly occur in the zygote that do not normally occur in either sperm or egg. Within minutes, the zygote initiates a change in its internal state that will, over the next 30 minutes, block additional sperm from binding to the cell surface. Thus, the zygote acts immediately to oppose the function of the gametes from which it is derived. While the goal of both sperm and egg is to find each other and to fuse, the first act of the zygote is to prevent any further binding of sperm to the cell surface. Clearly, the zygote has entered into a new pattern of behavior and therefore meets the second scientific criterion for being a new cell type. I could go on and on with examples from science and medical science, but the fact remains that real science shows clearly that what is being aborted is a developing human life. You can call the developing human life whatever you like, but the fact is it is a human life. This human life starts at conception, biologically, scientifically, and medically speaking, at the time the sperm meets the egg. It becomes a developing human life in 1 second. Some people call this developing human life a zygote, a fetus, a baby, a lump of cells, and through this I will ask questions. I will ask you to ask yourself these questions to see where you stand with your beliefs at the end of this video, because my only interest is to get down to the truth first. First question: if you or your girlfriend, wife becomes pregnant, what do you call it after the pregnancy test is positive and you choose to keep it? You're pregnant with what? If you at the exact same time period decide to have an abortion, what would you call it? If the answer is different, you have to ask yourself why. Did the developing human life change, or did the name you choose to use just change? And if so, why? I will provide some links below the video for information like the history of abortion. I give them all credit. I had nothing to do with the information, just sharing it. Many may wonder how abortion was made illegal, as it was illegal by and large in the past. Most of us heard about Roe v. Wade, a Supreme Court decision that made it legal for abortion. Pro-choice advocates tote this as a milestone for women's right to choose. Pro-life advocates have been trying to get this overturned for years. I would say Most on both sides of the abortion debate do not know the truth of this case. Norma McCurvey was Jane Roe. In 1973, she was the subject of the case that went to the Supreme Court, and now she is filing suit to overturn the decision. Roe, aka McCurvey, was 21 when she became pregnant out of wedlock. Kind of a big deal back then. She made up a story about being raped. She worked with 2 lawyers who wanted to challenge Texas abortion laws. Jane Roe, now Norma McCurvey, stated, and I quote, "Plain and simple, I was used. I was nobody to them. They only needed a pregnant woman to use for their case, and that's it. They cared not about me, but only about legalizing abortion. No matter what any of us believe on abortion, we can all admit that a law being made based on a lie is corrupt and wrong. The whole foundation of abortion becoming legal is based on a lie. In a murder trial, if someone is wrongly convicted on the death penalty and evidence proves this, it is overturned and the man-woman is let go, is free. In abortion, the truth of this case has been told, yet it has not been overturned. Well over 40 million developing humans, most of us call them babies once the woman becomes pregnant, have had their lives ended and receive no such justice. No matter which side of this debate you are on, if you are being honest, you can admit no one should lose their life based on a lie. Well, in this case, millions have. Moving on, let's go over some general numbers of the amount of human lives that are aborted and at what age in a study I have found. In this study, it was based on 1,500,000 developing human lives, aka babies. In 1992, 1.2% or 18,000 were 22 weeks or older. 10% or 150,000 were 13 to 20 weeks old. 88% or 1,332,000 were 12 weeks and under. Repeat abortions were at 20%, but rose to 45% in 1995. In 2013, it was still right around 44%. Unfortunately, many women do not report having multiple abortions, so the numbers may actually be much higher than the data we have. Some types of abortion and how they are performed are as follows. Menstrual extraction. It is often done before the pregnancy test is positive. It is performed very early. It is the suction abortion of the baby is sucked out by a tube. 6 weeks old, human life, a baby. The second, suction aspiration paralyzes the cervical muscle womb opening, stretches it open, then inserts a hollow plastic tube with a knife edge on the tip into the uterus. The suction tears the baby's body into pieces, then cuts the placenta from the uterus and sucks out the scrapes into a bottle. The suction is 29 times more powerful than your home vacuum cleaner. 11-week-old babies, at 12 weeks, the baby's nervous system electrical signals are measurable. Dilation and curettage, DNC, is another form of abortion, is similar to the suction procedure, except that the abortionist inserts a curette, the loop-shaped steel knife, into the woman's uterus. Then she cuts the placenta and baby into pieces and scrapes the pieces into a basin. The bleeding is usually profuse at 9 weeks. The baby has more than 90% of the body structure that we have as a full-grown human. A second trimester abortion technique is saline amniocentesis, or salt poisoning. Abortions after these are after the 16th week. A large needle is inserted into the baby's amniotic fluid. The baby breathes and swallows it. In it is poisoned, struggles, and sometimes convulses. This takes over an hour to kill the baby. When this method is successful, the mother 1 day later goes into labor and delivers her dead baby, 18 weeks old. At 16 weeks, the baby has eye movements. At 18 weeks, the baby's brain in the cerebral cortex has the same number of nerve cells as a full-grown adult. The cerebral cortex is responsible for functions such as reasoning, memory and the language, the pain sensory receptors of the skin and mucous membrane are all in place. If you're viewing this video on my Cool Video 28 channel, I have a new channel that's going to be going over the truth on many subjects. It's called The Hardcore Truth. This Cool Video 28 channel is gonna turn into all the things that I love to do, all different subjects, anything that I think is cool or interesting. And The Hardcore Truth YouTube channel is going to be all about the truth of all different subjects. This is the first video that I'm doing on the truth about abortion, and continue on and watch the rest of them. We'll have additional videos, and God bless you. Have a great day.